Hey, Jeremy Boone here. Glad to be back in the saddle. Last week was crazy dealing with pneumonia. In the past 24 hours, though, we've had 4 different teams, professional soccer organizations, both here in the United States and over in Europe, contacting me about taking the profile. We've had a couple of agents getting ready for the combine training for football leading up to next spring's draft. Now, with the exception of the Philadelphia Phillies and the New York Yankees playing baseball, I've had a couple of different teams contacting me about some of their players in their organizations. And the concern is the commitment and valuing, in their words, of the players to their organization, to their program. Here's the take-home message. Our values help determine how we spend our time. So, for example, in our profiling, when we're using our forced ranking instrument, if an athlete ranks love for my team as number 1, then they're going to put a lot of their time, effort, energy, focus into other players on their team because they value that. And more times than not, that tends to be more socially driven than anything else. And that can come from more from women's sports that we see in our data that we look at. Versus if an athlete ranks winning is everything to me is their number 1, then how they spend their time and their effort, their attention, their focus is going to be very different. They're going to do the things required to help them achieve their goals. We've had some players put in that coaches, they've ranked that, the coaching statement at Coaching Genius ranked as their top 1 or 2. And so those athletes are going to spend more time around their coaches trying to learn. The take-home point is this, is that once you sit down with your players and you get them to identify their values, then you can get a pretty good indication of how they're going to spend their time and what's important to them. And if they're not very clear, then they're going to make some generalizations about the choices that they make, which leads to their daily habits that either contribute to achieving their goal or habits that get in the way and prevent them and serve as roadblocks from improving and achieving their goal too. So do yourself a favor, sit down with your players today, take literally 5 minutes and ask them the following sequence of questions. Ask them question number 1, what about playing your sport, fill in that blank, maybe basketball, football, soccer, baseball, whatever it is. What about playing your sport is important to you? Word it exactly like that. And whatever answer they come back with, then take that answer and follow up with the same formatting question. What about that answer is important to you? And work down 3 or 4 levels deep until you really get to the core of why that athlete is participating in that sport. And then talk about some values around that answer that they've given once you peel that away. And then you can start to build some habits building around those values that can help then achieve some goals. So there's today's tip. Hope it helps, and check back with the InnerTactics.com blog for more tips on mastering your mental game.